We're talking tomatoes today on Pots and Trowels, and that's brought to you with the support of Cobra Garden and Darlac. Today we're in the greenhouse, going to be having a look at the tomato plants and just having a bit of an update and give you a few tips on helping them to carry on growing and, more importantly, ripening through the rest of the summer months. So I grow two different types in the greenhouse. One of them is a basket tomato, and this is one of them here in this hanging pot that you can see. Also great in just an ordinary container outside on a patio, and this is a variety called Tumbling Tom, and they're just starting to ripen. Here we are now, the end of July, a little bit later this year. I was a little bit late sowing the seed, and it's not been the best growing weather. We had it very, very hot, which seemed to slow them down, and then we've had a few weeks of sort of dull, cooler weather, but they are still there. Loads and loads of fruits to come, and now they're at this stage where they're ripening. It all happens in the next few weeks, so we're going to get lots and lots of fruits on this one. The great thing about Tumbling Tom is you can grow it indoors or outdoors. It doesn't need any pinching out. It naturally just cascades over the side of the pot. This is just a 10-inch pot there, and so there's nothing really to do except water it and feed it, and obviously enjoy these delicious tomatoes as they ripen. Because the great thing about growing your own is that you can grow so many different varieties, and they will always taste so much better than the supermarket ones, simply because we're going to allow them to fully ripen on the plant before we pick them, and then the full flavour really develops. So in this situation, not an awful lot to do except watering on a regular basis and checking them over. And as you can see on this one, we naturally get some leaves that start to yellow as the plant ages. So anything like that, I would just take off. So just go over, pick off any yellowing leaves. Once they've gone yellow like that, they'll never go green again, and they're not feeding the plant at all. So if you just take them off, it allows better air circulation around these fruits as they're ripening. Keep them constantly moist, never let them dry out. Drying them out causes tough skins. So if you've had a problem in the past where the skins are tough, it's often because they've had erratic watering. So we need constant moisture in the pot or the basket or the ground, however we grow in them. And we also need to feed them with a tomato fertilizer, and that's usually high in potash. And what the potash does is it encourages flowering, so we've still got flowers on this which will develop into fruits, but it also then helps the fruits to form and develop, and more importantly, it helps the ripening process. And it also usually contains calcium, and calcium is important to prevent a disorder known as blossom end rot, which we tend to get on the bigger tomatoes, not the cherry tomatoes, and that's where the deficiency causes the base of the fruit to go black and leathery. So watering with the added calcium in the tomato food will overcome that problem. So I'm going to mix some feed up here. I'm using an organic feed. This is actually a plant-based one made from composted organic material, and this is the juice, and basically I'm just going to put it in there. You need about 4 or 5 of these capfuls into a gallon of water, 4.5 litres. This is just a bit more than a gallon, so I'm just putting 6 in. That can go on there. Give that a stir in, and then what I would do is do this at least once a week. Alternatively, you could do half strength and do it twice a week, and that way you're just always giving the plant some of the feed. And we're just going to do that by watering into the top to make sure that they've had a good soak in, and then that will help to keep them nice and healthy. So if we just wander through the greenhouse, if Jill can get under these tomatoes, you can see the others that we're growing here, and these are what we call my cordon tomatoes. So these have been grown as a straight stem. The side shoots have been removed. This is a side shoot that's escaped. So the side shoots are these shoots that develop between the main stem here and a leaf, and ideally we take them out when they're smaller, but they just snap out. If you twist them both ways like that, they will snap out. So we take those out. If we don't, instead of getting this single stem, it will just grow into a huge bush and take over the greenhouse. There's a small one in there that's much easier to take out. You can see the little one in there, I'm just going to pull that one out. So they need to be taken out. So we've got the clear stem. And then the other thing I'm going to do, here we are now, end of July going into August. We're in the East Midlands of England, and I always think that if we carry on letting them grow, as you can see, it's just going to get taller and taller and go for the sky. And it's already developing more trusses of flowers here. The problem is, once we get past the beginning of August, the days are now starting to gradually draw in and growth will slow down. So although these will develop into fruits, the fruits won't have time probably to ripen before the cold weather comes in the autumn. So what I like to do at this time of the year, that early August is the ideal time to do it, is stop the plants from growing. And what I would do is, there's a side shoot there which I'm going to take out. This will be my last truss, which is just developing the little fruits here. As you can see, the fruits are just developing there. I'm going to count 2 leaves above it, 1 or 2, it doesn't really matter, and then I'm going to cut the top out. So I have now stopped this tomato plant from growing. It will try to carry on growing and probably produce a little side shoot in there that will grow, and if that happens, I will keep taking that out. What that does now, it puts all the energy into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trusses of fruit, which go down here, and we can see these trusses down here. Look, these are developing really well. This is Tigerella. Again, these will start to ripen in a week or 2. If you get a little shoot growing out the end, just pinch it off. So all the plant's energy will now go into the tomatoes that have formed on this plant, and that will ensure that they develop to their full size, but more importantly, they'll ripen. And I'm not guaranteeing 100%, but pretty confident by October, when it does start to cool down, we'll have got all these fruits to have ripened. Now, if you like green tomato chutney, then by all means let them grow, because you'll get loads and loads of green tomatoes in October that will never ripen, but I don't like it, so we're going for ripe tomatoes. The other thing I would do with these is, as we can see, some have started now to ripen. This is a lovely sort of golden orange form. This one is called Marigold. We've got Tigerella in here, and we've also got a purple one. So within a couple of weeks, they're going to start ripening. Just check them over. Any damaged leaves, take them off. And as these start to ripen on the bottom truss, we can start to remove a few of the lower leaves. Now, these are still fairly green, so they're doing their job. But once these ripen, and we've got lots of lovely green, healthy foliage on the top, and of course, these will also be fed on a weekly basis with the same feed, you can gradually start to take some of these lower leaves off. And to take a lower leaf off is really easy. What we do is use your thumb, and I don't know if I can get in there, but I can't get in at the right angle, but we get the leaf and we push it up and then down, and it snaps away really cleanly. If I do that one there, just flick it up, you hear the crack, and then down, off it comes. And that one, up and down, and I'm going to take one more off at the back, up and down, and then that one there, maybe here, and that's come away cleanly. Now what that does is it allows better air circulation around the base of the plants as these are ripening. I wouldn't go any higher by taking any more foliage off at this stage, because these green leaves are also photosynthesizing and making loads of energy for the plant. So don't go mad at this stage. But once these have all ripened and these are ripening, I will take off another couple of leaves, and gradually over the next 2 months I'll work my way up, so we've more or less followed the ripening by removing the foliage, and certainly if they go yellow, take them off. So that's it really. And one final thing, I've noticed this variety here, which is it's going to be a black cherry tomato. If you look there, this one, after the truss of fruit is developing, it's producing a long shoot. So again, we don't want to leave that on, because that's just going to get heavy and weigh down. So I'm just going to get my knife or secateurs and just snip that off, and that again can be disposed of. So keep your eye on them, water them regularly, never let them dry out. Feed them once a week with a high potash fertiliser. Any yellow leaves or damaged leaves take off, and then gradually reduce the foliage from the base of the plants as the fruits start to ripen, and plenty of sunshine. We're going to have a fantastic crop. Well, thank you for watching Pots and Trowels, and remember, you can watch all the videos we've done on a range of gardening subjects on YouTube, where you can also subscribe for free. We'll be back again in the garden soon, so we'll see you then. Bye.